Welcome to uWrench. Today we're reviewing this that's been kindly supplied to us by XTOOL for review. This is the XTOOL D5S. So first of all, the D5S is not to be confused with its bigger brother, the best-selling D7S, which is a considerably more expensive scanner. And what we have here with the D5S is essentially one of XTOOL's entry-level scanners. And this is quite a cheap piece of kit. The current price on this unit is $219. However, it can be purchased for much cheaper than that, and the best price that we found is actually on the official XTOOL website. You can currently buy this unit on there for just $159. And additionally, we have secured 2 exclusive discount codes with XTOOL. First of all, when you're placing any order on the XTOOL website, if you input the code uWrench10%, you'll automatically receive 10% off of your order. And that doesn't apply just for this particular scanner, that's any scanner you want to order with 10% extra discount. And additionally, we have a code that's specific to the D5, the D5S, the D6 and the D6S only. You can actually get 15% off of those units by entering the code WRENCH15. So on the D5S that we have here, currently $159, if you use that discount code WRENCH15 to get that 15% discount, it takes the price down to just $135. So what precisely does $135 buy us in car diagnostic scanners these days? So first of all, let's talk protocols, and the D5S supports CAN, CAN-FD and also FCA. And that's a pretty strong collection of protocols for a scanner at this price. However, it is important to point out that this does not support DOIP, which its bigger brother, the D7S, does. Now, a huge bonus when it comes to the D5S is the simple fact that this comes complete with free lifetime updates from XTOOL. So once you've bought this unit, it will not cost you 1 extra cent for as long as you keep it and it remains working. And that's definitely a considerable bonus over the D7S that comes with 3 years of free updates, and then it costs $99 a year. Now, because we're very much in budget scanner territory, as you may well imagine, of course, we do have some limitations for the D5S. Without question, the biggest limitation is the fact that this scanner is limited to just 5 system modules, whereas scanners such as the D7S and even the D6S at $239 have full system scanning. So that will definitely limit what we're capable of doing with the D5S, and we'll come back and explore that in a short while. Now, if you are interested in buying yourself a D5S, or in fact the D7S, or even the D6S that we mentioned in this video, then we will be adding Amazon links for all of those scanners into the video description below, along with links to the official listings on the XTOOL website, so you can buy from whichever you prefer. And one important thing to remember is we do have those exclusive discount codes if you're ordering on the official XTOOL website. So the first code is uWrench10%, and that will give you 10% off of any order that you place on the XTOOL website. That's not only for the scanners mentioned here, that is anything that you want to order with an automatic 10% discount. And additionally, if you're specifically looking at the D5, the D5S, or the D6 or the D6S, you can get 15% on those by entering the code WRENCH15. And you'll probably find that the prices on the official XTOOL website, especially when you add in those exclusive discounts, are actually cheaper than buying them on Amazon. But we do have links for both there, so use whichever you like. And so if you are looking at buying any XTOOL scanner, then please help to support what we do here at uWrench. Please be sure to check out those links. What precisely do we get when we buy the D5S? Well, as you may well imagine, being a budget scanner, the packaging is somewhat simple. The unit is supplied in a black retail box, inside which you'll find we have a quick start guide, the scanner itself, the main communication cable, which is finished in black, and also a USB-C to USB-A charging cable. And for specification, our D5S has a 5.45-inch screen, complete with a 1440 by 720 resolution. And the unit comes fitted with a 3150 mAh battery as standard. And when it comes to storage, for the D5S we have 32 gigabytes. And for the processor, we have a dual core processor running at 1.2 GHz under Linux. And the body of the D5S is plastic, complete with rubberized plastic grips on either side of the body. And XTOOL supplies this unit complete with a 2-year warranty. And also remember that we do get free lifetime updates. And when it comes to vehicle coverage, XTOOL claims that this should be good for scanning more than 10,000 different models. So now we're familiar with the D5S, let's get it switched on and set up. So when we switch the unit on, we're presented with the XTOOL logo, which then takes us directly to the Wi-Fi login screen. So we'll simply select the network we wish to use and enter the network password. And next, the scanner will ask you to either log into your existing XTOOL account, or if you don't have one, to register. So we'll go ahead and click register. So simply input your email address and create a password. Then hit register and it will confirm that it has been successfully activated. So now we'll click start to use. And this brings us onto our main XTOOL menu. And it's always a good idea to check for updates first. And here's a list of the currently available updates. And you can either pick and choose the ones you want to install, or otherwise click the updates button and this will automatically select and download all of those available updates for you. Now it usually takes a little bit of time to get them all downloaded and installed, so you'll need a little bit of patience the first time you use the unit. But once we're fully updated, we're good to go. So let's get it connected up to the car. So first up, we're going to need to connect our cable. So we need to connect one end of the cable to our scanner, and then the other end of the cable needs to attach to our OBD2 port. And this is usually located under the dash on the left-hand side of the vehicle. And then we'll need to put in the key and switch the ignition to position number 2. Which is 2 clicks to the right, which is the one before starting the engine. And it's always a good idea to switch off anything that's likely to drain the battery, including your heater panel and also your radio. And so our scanner is now ready to use. So let's have a look at some of the basic functions. So let's begin with the most basic function, which would be the generic OBD2 scanner. And the OBD2 scanner is a non-manufacturer specific universal tool. And you can pick up cheap OBD2 scanners for around $30, and they can be really useful for common and generic faults. And thankfully the D5S has one already built in. So we'll start with auto scan. And here are the basic OBD2 options. So we'll read our trouble codes. And we have 3 types to choose from, and we can see that under our permanent codes we have 2 on this particular vehicle, which is correct because we know about these faults. And unfortunately there's no click link available to simply click the fault code name and view more details, which would have been nice. And we do also have some basic live data within the OBD2 section as well, which again can be really useful. So next let's look at the auto scan function, and this will ask us to confirm the manufacturer, which for us is Chrysler. So we'll then click on automatic detection, and here are the details on the vehicle. Click OK. So we'll go to automatic scan, and the scanner will scan through the various modules. Now the important factor that we have to remember here is that this scanner only supports 5 modules, and that's also assuming that those particular modules are available for the car that you are working on. And as you can see, we've accessed just 3 modules on this particular car, which is a town and country, and we've not found any fault codes within those 3 modules. And you can click on any of these modules and you'll have options there to read and clear codes only within this one module. And you can also read ECU info or view live data. Now before you go ahead and fix the car and clear the code, you should first save a copy of the report. So we'll click on DTC report, and here is the report, so we can simply go ahead and click on save. So next let's take a look at the system selection, and here we can see that we have access to 4 of the 5 modules here. And again, you can click on any module to view the same additional options. So let's take a look at the live data in the occupancy restraint module as an example. And here we can see some of the readings that our various sensors are picking up. And this can be very useful for checking for dead connections or incorrect readings. So next, let's go back to the home page and we'll take a look at the diagnosis section. And after we've confirmed the vehicle details, we can choose automatic scan or system selection. And this is essentially the same information that we can access via the auto scan function, but we're now doing it manually. And for a basic demonstration of the live data, let's take a look at the ABS module and click Live Data. And at position number 5, we can see that the brake pedal status is currently released. So if I go ahead and manually press the brake pedal, the status will change. And likewise at position 22, we have the accelerator pedal position. And as I slowly press the pedal, we can see the percentage change, and then back down to 0 as I release. So next, let's take a look at the special functions section. And this is where the 15 maintenance functions come into play. So what we essentially have here is a generic list of common and useful processes. However, it should be noted that just because they appear here, you may not be able to use them for your particular car, because it will depend on what options and modules your car has fitted. And for a complete list of compatibility with the car that you wish to work on, please be sure to visit the XTOOL website. So finally, let's have a quick look at the More section. And under Profile, you can view your account information and also input your full workshop information if you so desire. And you can also click on Report, and this is where you have access to all your previously saved scans. And within the Settings sections, we have access to adjust all of the obvious settings for things like date and time and display brightness. And so that just about covers the basic functionality of the D5S. And hopefully this has enabled you to get a better feel for the scanner. So now we've seen the D5S in action, what's the final verdict? Well, this unit definitely does have its positives, but also some negatives. On the positive side, of course, this is an inexpensive scanner, and I must say it is very well built and has a decent screen, very bright and easy to use. But without question, the biggest limitation when it comes to our D5S is the fact that we can only scan 5 system modules. And so unfortunately with our D5S we really have a scanner that can only really cover the very basics. Now to give you a practical example of that, as you saw earlier in the video, when we connected this up, we could only actually access 3 of those 5 modules on the Chrysler that we were working on. Whereas when we connected up the D7S, which has the full system scanning, that was able to access 16 modules. And this really is the Achilles heel when it comes to the D5S, because if you want to do anything that's outside of the most basic functionality, then chances are you're going to struggle with this particular scanner. But of course we do have to put that into context. We should remember that the D7S is $379 compared to this, less than half the price. You can pick this up for $159. But of course you could also argue, and it's a very fair argument indeed, that yes, you are paying double the price, but you also are getting more than double the functionality. But let's imagine just for a second that your budget is very limited and you can't quite stretch to $379 to join that massive legion of those D7S owners that are out there. Well, in that case, you should definitely be taking a look at XTOOL's D6S. So the D6S does also come with free lifetime updates, just like our D5S. But on the D6S we have 30 special functions compared to just 15. But without question, best of all, the D6S supports full system scanning, remembering that the D5S were limited to just 5. Now you can pick up the D6S for around $239. Or just $203 if you use the discount code WRENCH15 during checkout. Now, whilst I appreciate that's a full $80 more expensive than what we have here with the D5S, that extra $80 is probably a very safe investment, especially when we consider just how much more advanced the D6S is over the D5S. You'll definitely be able to do a lot more with that D6S and have a lot more control over your car. And likewise, if you are able to stretch your budget up to the D7S, or perhaps you can find one on special offer, then that's definitely a fantastic scanner scanner to own. And for the amount of money that you're spending, it's definitely one of the strongest scanners that's out there. And that's precisely why the D7S is a bestseller and following hot on the heels of the original D7 from XTOOL. Now, for those that are interested, we have done a full video review of the D7S, so I'll add a link in the video description below for you in case you want to check that out. Now, very importantly, please do remember, if you are interested in picking up any of the scanners that we featured in this video, that we will be adding both Amazon links and links to the official XTOOL website. And you'll find those links in the video description. And do remember, if you are going to be ordering on the XTOOL website, then we do have a couple of discount code options for you. First of all, if you use the code UWrench10%, then you will receive 10% discount on any order that you place on the XTOOL website, regardless of what it is that you're ordering. And additionally, if you are looking specifically at the D5, D5S, the D6 or the D6S, then you can get 15% discount on those by simply entering the code WRENCH15 during checkout. And all of those links, including those discount codes, will be in the video description for you. And so if this video has been helpful for you in any way and you do want to buy yourself an XTOOL scanner, please be sure to help support what we do here at UWrench. Please check out those links. So thank you very much for joining us here at UWrench. Before you leave, can you take 1 second out of your busy day? Please, at the very least, be sure to hit that like button for us. Whilst you're there, why not also click subscribe? We've got hundreds more great videos just waiting for you to check out. So thank you for joining us. We hope it's been helpful for you, and we'll catch you on the next video.